Mm. Sweat around shoulders because I can't lift my shoulders anymore. Very difficult to dress and undress. Anyway, it's extraordinary how difficult it is to get across to people what post-traumatic stress is and how it affects people. I would imagine anyone else with PTSD has the same problem. Although I do find it extraordinary that someone who has spent a lifetime working with people with various assorted handicaps, and I will use the word handicap, doesn't understand any of them. I do love Ceredigion very much. I love Wales very much. But I would be a liar if I did not say that it has added layer after layer after layer of trauma to the post-traumatic stress I already had. It was already complex post-traumatic stress, and now it is at some level of complex post-traumatic stress that I can't describe. Active Hands of Neath, and I have now given them a review. I didn't know I could before. I remember trying before. It's been 6 years, and every moment of it absolutely etched on my brain. And it's affected me every day of my life for the last 6 years. So I have not now put a review on Active Hands of Neath, telling the exact truth. I missed out. They shouted at me just before driving off, and I did not shout. What they actually shouted was, "How do you expect us to get it in?" Well, they're the removal men, you know. That's what I thought they'd been paid for. Subsequently, I was accused of shouting at them, which I did not do at any point, although I would have been justified in doing so, I think, considering that they started out by breaking my furniture, throwing some in the garden, and ended up by running off with half of it still in the van. And yet I did not shout at them. And yet I was accused of that over and over and over again, and it was used against me when I was evicted from Clannon. Not that I didn't want to be evicted from Clannon. It was greatly to be desired because the temperatures in there were something like 100 degrees. I kid you not. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the pipes were red hot to the touch. And Ty Ceredigion couldn't be asked to fix the boiler. I wouldn't be surprised if it contributed to my lung condition, in point of fact. So it was the start of an ongoing nightmare that has never ended. Trauma. It was extremely traumatic, especially for someone who has a component of post-traumatic stress called obsessive-compulsive disorder. This means I hate it when people touch my things. Removal men, at best, are something to be borne with the most fortitude I can summon up. I loathe it when people touch my belongings. Absolutely loathe it. And when they break them and steal them, that is breaking one of the defense mechanisms that keeps me sane. And so, no, I did not want another removal firm who I judge to be of the same caliber. And I think it's a fair judgment. Funny, I was going to talk about post-traumatic stress, not specifically Active Hands of Neath. I've gone over all the other layers of post-traumatic stress that have been added to the post-traumatic stress since I got here. You'd think I would be running, if I could, to get the hell out. Except that Ceredigion is so very beautiful and I love it so very much. And I can't run. I was led to believe that I did have a choice as to which removal van I chose to leave here with, right up to the day before yesterday. Yesterday I was told I did not have a choice, and it had been decided that it would be the one and only firm I would rather die than travel with, or entrust my belongings to. And I actually mean that. As I've said in so many videos recently, death is coming soon anyway. I don't think there's a point in moving all the way back to England to live a few months of misery and then die. I really don't. And it's not suitable for my dog, in all truth and honesty. But you see, you don't have time to think about these things. People who never rented privately just don't get that either. The landlord / landlady wants an answer, preferably then and there, and certainly within 24 hours. You don't have time to think about the pros and cons. You don't have time. It's absolutely not suitable for Danny. Absolutely not. And there is a tremendous walk from the flat to the laundry room. People might think I don't care about that very much, but in point of fact, I do. I cannot imagine myself carrying laundry back up the stairs. I think it's impossible. Now, this is the sort of video that once upon a time I made just to get it off my chest and then did not, of course, upload. And now it appears the place has gone anyway. Notwithstanding that the landlady there has had a deposit and 4 months' rent. And I've never set foot in it since viewing it. She told me, I didn't know, that as I had recently signed another contract here, I could not give 1 month's notice. I couldn't give 1 month's notice until the end of the contract, she said. Therefore, she should have been prepared for the fact that I wasn't going to get there any time soon. But I can't keep paying a month's rent on an empty flat that I've never been to. And the truth is that the minute I told her I had COPD, she didn't want me as a tenant. If I had told her right at the beginning, she would have never given me the flat. And that would have been for the best. I wanted to go back to Southampton, my home. The place I lived for 45 years, the place I know, the place that in and of itself is friend to me. I know every nook and cranny of it. Although I see it's changed most dreadfully since I was there. I left soon after the protests against the invasion of Iraq. That same year. I could see what was coming. I could see the Trojan horse. I could see that the enemy was already within, and that they would be radicalized if we invaded Iraq, and they were already here. And I was right, which gives me no satisfaction whatsoever. Today I see that Antifa was protesting in Southampton against what they call racists. They are a brainwashed generation who have not been taught to think for themselves, who have not been taught to think outside the box, who have not been taught to question everything they're told and everything they read. They have not been taught any of these things. They have accepted blindly and without thought the idea that if you dislike a particular religion, you are a racist. They are unable to differentiate between religion and race. And that's just for starters. As they say, I see that has just been going on in Southampton, which gave me pause for thought. In the 13 years or so that I've been gone, 12 and a half. Plus, everything has changed very, very, very much. And as I say, what I feared would happen has in fact come to pass. This was going to be about PTSD and how difficult it is to make people understand it. You can't. They haven't a clue what it's like to live with traumas that never ever go away and to be terrified of a similar trauma happening again. Long one about nothing.